Are we rolling? Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Keep it in. Jamie, keep it in.
Okay. Welcome back to The Chase and the Truth. I'm your host, Kristen Campos, and today we have some repeats.
We got round two.
Yeah. We're running it back with my cousins, Mike Gonzales and sisters. So I want you all to introduce yourselves. We're coming off of a high because we literally just landed last night.
Oof.
From your biggest performance yet.
To date.
We won't say ever, but yeah, to date, because you guys got some big things in
That's
store.
right. That's absolutely right.
But we are all on a high, and I got to spend some time with my cousins/sisters. We were roomies. Also.
Yeah.
But go ahead and introduce yourselves. And this is going to be a very special episode. I guess I should preface because we're going to talk about your story. Much like we did the last time, but kind of peeling back the curtain a little bit more with behind the scenes and what it's like really to be raised with three sisters.
That's right. Ooh, we gonna get into it.
Yeah,
that's the real story.
That's the real story, yeah. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm starting first. Okay.
You're starting first.
I'm Samayia. I'm 3 of 4.
Yeah.
So, where are you in the...
Yeah, so I'm the middle youngest.
Okay.
So, yeah, it goes Mike, Bree, me. There's a big gap. There's a 5-year gap. And then me and Rena are the babies.
So I'm Rena.
You want to get closer to the mic because the people won't hear you.
I'm Rena. I'm baby sis.
She's baby sis.
Yeah, me and Mike are 9 years apart.
That's right.
Crazy.
Which is actually over the weekend when you said that, you're like, yeah, Rena and I are 9 years apart. I was like, wait, because my sister and I are 12 years apart, and that's like a significant gap.
It is. It is.
But you really don't feel it. I mean, I don't feel it with you guys, and like I certainly don't feel it with my sister.
No.
Yeah, no.
No, we don't.
But
Definitely have gotten a lot closer as we've gotten older.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
me. At least I've gotten a lot closer to Mike as I've gotten older.
and then we have. We can introduce her as the one that holds down the fort, the one that
Yes.
gets things done.
That's damn right.
I'm Brianna Gonzales. I'm the older sister, but also like the
backbone.
manager of the family. So.
Queen bee.
Yeah,
Queen
so-
bee.
Queen bee.
And in my family, we call it sistager. So
Yeah.
you're the sistager.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, the family. Yeah. I found myself with my parents, like just growing up, and then my sister being in golf and like all of the tournaments and stuff. Like I was the one like booking the hotels, the flights, and making sure everything is coordinated. We got our, back in the day taxis or whatever, but like Ubers and stuff. And that's you. Like,
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, oh, I think I even said when we were touring, I'm like, wow, this is really nice. Where I'm not the one that did all the planning.
It's good
I'm
just being a part of the family.
I was just like, taking video. And she's over here, this way, guys.
Yep. That's exactly right.
So I'm so proud of you because I think like growing up, it's just been like, I've known you the most just because we're the closest in age and then UT and stuff. But then to see you like, live in and living color in action behind the scenes getting things done.
She held down the fort for all of us this weekend.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been it was a blessing for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
Because what we did this weekend was so busy for me, and to put everything on her, on the ball for everything.
Yeah.
She's putting out fires to get everybody in, like we'll get there.
In New York City.
In New York City, dude. In New York City, B. That's what we were this weekend, B. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
So crazy. So we're going to build up to MSG and like what happened this weekend because it was just surreal. Like some of the moments that we had, I'm like, oh, is this real life? Like somebody punched me, you know?
Yeah.
And
Right.
even just seeing your name, Michael Gonzales, on the screen, I'm like, I think I would look over at you guys like, I'm shocked. Like, it's just so unreal to think about it. And it's like an out-of-body experience. But then that's not who your family knows you to be, just the drummer, right? Or just the person that works really, like there's a whole, I guess, storyline behind what created you to be who you are now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
And part of it was these girls over here.
I'd probably say like 90% of it. I mean, since I started playing drums, they were there when I got my first kit. They were there when I sucked ass. They were there when I was making noise on the second floor of our house, all wood floors you could hear throughout the house.
Yeah.
Her room was right next door. They shared a room downstairs above where I was playing. So like they all sacrificed all those early years of me really
Just banging
away.
on those drums.
Yeah. Like at midnight, just hearing
What
him
was
like
your-
playing. We're like, okay.
Trying to watch TV, fighting for our lives. All we hear is drums.
What was your
for hours.
POV? Were you like, oh my gosh, like, be quiet? Or were you more like,
Yeah, we definitely had like occasions where like, okay, dude, like enough's enough.
It's
like,
been
we
a
wanna
few
go to
hours.
sleep, like, let's do something else.
Come on.
But other times, like we understood
got
like
it,
his
yeah.
determination and like where he wants to be and where he wants to get. So without getting there, it's like without
Yeah.
having that practice and that drive, like
Yeah.
he wouldn't be where he is without it. So
at what point did you all take him seriously? Because, like, obviously, like, I have a brother, and, like, I know that there's a lot of, like, you know, you just joke around or play around or whatever. You're like, whatever, you growing up. But at what point did you say, like, oh, he's serious? This isn't just...
I think we always knew, like, if this is what he wanted to do, he was gonna make it happen, and we just always believed.
yeah,
And it was very gradual
Yeah,
at the
it was very
beginning.
gradual. That's the thing.
But
Wait, how far apart in age are you all?
so if we're 5,
7.5.
yeah.
probably.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's 98. I'm 92. So it was like 6 years.
Yeah.
A little over 6 years.
Yeah.
Maturity wise, I feel like we're.
Yeah, well,
Okay. Don't.
she goes, maturity.
Actually, maturity wise,
We're
we're
here.
closer.
She's always acted a little bit older than she's been.
That's
Which
true.
because you guys
But
are so
yeah.
much older than me.
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, we have
Yeah.
this big gap. I just have
She
always
was always-
adapted to meshing with the
Yeah.
older. Also, all my cousins are like so much older.
Yeah.
We're the
Right.
babies
Yeah.
of our family.
That's
right.
so true.
Mm-hmm.
Literally baby G. So
Of all the...
All the
Yeah,
cousins.
for the record, they're on their family. I'm like, okay, so should we run it back, or they should just listen to the first episode, and you'll know how we're related, but not related, but we are related.
Yeah.
They have a big
Family.
Gonzales family, and there's a lot of cousins, a lot.
Yeah.
And you are the baby.
I'm baby G.
Baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Wear that with pride.
I do. Very much do.
Yeah. So what has been your POV, Rena? Like seeing all of the older cousins, you know, get their jobs, find their way, and then you have your brother that's like, I want to drum, and you're like, what's your perspective on that?
I feel like I've always just seen Mike as like my biggest role model, and my sisters, of course. Bree's my biggest one now. Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Maya.
Like no honorable mention.
Dude, come on. We spend the most time together. What up?
No, but I guess just like we always knew Mike would make it big, and it was just seeing him like go through the journey, always believing in him, and we never doubted it for a second. So it was just that belief that we all had in him, and it was just really inspiring, like going through
Yeah.
a little bit of pressure, but
Yeah.
more inspiring.
A little bit.
Yeah, it raises the bar a little bit. Well, I think
For
the
sure.
biggest thing about your entire family is that everybody has work ethic. Like you're not
True.
afraid to work at whatever it is that you all are doing. And for Mike, it just happened to be drums, and that's
Yeah.
what you applied your work ethic to. But every single one of you all, I think that's what your parents raised you with is it doesn't matter what it takes. We met some amazing people in New York, and Katie being one of them.
That's right.
And an amazing experience with the Yankee Stadium. But in getting to know her, same thing. And we're like, oh my God, she's family. And I feel like anybody that we welcome into the family is because they can resonate with that like work ethic.
That's right.
You know, and I think that that's who we all get along with the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out my girl Katie. Thank you so much for this weekend.
We are
shout out
so
Thank you
We
so
love
grateful.
Katie.
Like, you have no idea.
So we can't wait for you to get here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but Mike, what's been your perspective on being, and you have just like as a guy,
Yeah.
a very unique experience because you have 3 sisters,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
right.
think that molds your heart in a different way as
It completely
you get
did.
older.
It
What's
completely
your
did.
perception been like? Chasing the dream, but also being accountable to your sisters.
Yeah, well, they kept me accountable the entire time. Like they've made sure that throughout this entire process, like family's always first, and they're always with me. I mean, Rena's come to so many shows. She's been with me for a lot of stuff, and now Bree's my manager. So she was with me at every step of the way this past weekend. This was like the first time she actually, like,
Yeah.
this was her job.
Yeah.
She killed it. But I mean, just since I was in high school and college, like they've supported me the entire way. I mean, just with my love life,
Yeah.
which has been a huge thing. I know we've
a journey in
it has
itself.
been a journey in itself, but I can always come
leave it
back
at
to
that.
them to hear a woman's perspective,
Yeah.
and that's helped a lot, just outside of the music stuff, just life shit in general.
Yeah.
It's just I can get a female's perspective in life, and that's softened my heart a little bit, because I know a lot of my friends that don't have any sisters are completely different the way they act around people.
Yeah.
And it's just a different life experience, but I'm so glad to have all three of them. And then when I'm fucking around and doing dumb shit, all three of them are like, "Hey, come
You
on,
better
you gotta."
believe they're gonna be in the corner when you come home.
We've just had some experiences just like that, and be like, they've even before some of the Keith Urban stuff, like I was super stressed out. I had dropped I was getting home super late. I got home super late from I think it was like a practice session or something. The night before, I had to fly out to, what was it, Minneapolis, one of the small shows that I was playing with Keith, which is crazy. Small shows with Keith Urban playing for 200 people.
Yeah, we're gonna run this back here.
We'll run it.
We're gonna build this story.
But anyway, so I get home and I forget that I have an open cymbal bag with my 24-inch cymbal that doesn't fit, so it's open, and I forget I put it at the edge of my car, and I open up my car, and the whole thing falls out, and it cracked my cymbal. And I was already in a weird mental headspace and
It had been a
stressed
weekend.
out.
It was our first weekend in the house.
Yeah.
We were moving.
So
I had just got back from
running
Nashville, too.
Yeah, running it back. Not all of the siblings lived here a couple of months ago.
No.
It was just you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
your family, your parents visit a lot, your sisters would visit a lot, but they didn't necessarily live here. So that's relatively new. You just moved, Bree, you just moved from Dallas. Rena, you're moving from San Antonio. And
I was in
you
Dallas, too.
And, oh, you were in Dallas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all new.
All new. Everything's
Lots
brand
of
new.
life changes.
Yeah.
Since we last were on the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Incredible. So now,
Crack symbol.
So after LA, after the whole Kill Tony LA thing, we all moved in together the same week we got back. So getting used to that, and I'm preparing for some Keith Urban stuff, and this happens, and I open up my door, and the cymbal falls out, and it falls on the blacktop, cracks my cymbal, and I'm already mentally drained, exhausted, not feeling like I've practiced enough for some of the biggest shit in my life, like shows. Just I'm about to play, Nissan Stadium with Keith Urban. It just insane stuff, and it falls on the floor, and I have like almost like an anger hissy fit outside.
Loses it.
And so like I'm cussing, I'm what the, all this stuff, and
our
okay.
perspective on that is that Samayia and I were sitting or laying in our bed, because our bed window faces the street, and we didn't have the TV on or anything. We were just kind of just talking. We knew Mikey was coming home, so we were kind of just waiting for him to get there, and then we hear somebody yelling.
Like
We were like,
screaming.
what, like,
At the
okay,
top of
we
their
live,
lungs.
like, we live off of Riverside. That is just also one thing in itself. So it's like, yo, who is out there yelling like that?
First weekend in the house, we're like, who are these crazy people outside?
Where did we move to?
Oh, did we pick the right neighborhood? Oh my gosh. We're like, what? And then there was a pause, and then we hear it again, and both Samayia and I like look at each other, and we recognize that it's Mikey's voice, and we're like,
is that Mike?
and then we just like put on our shoes really quick and ran downstairs, because we were like, what the heck is going
I
on?
thought he got hurt. Like we were so scared. And then, I mean, what happened sucked.
Yeah.
But he was just going through it, like mentally.
I
We
was.
could tell.
And the thing is with this symbol, it's so important to me. It was given to me as a gift from Eric Gross. Like, he's my A&R rep, who y'all met this weekend. It's not cracked, but it's like, it just has a little divot in it, and it meant so much to me, because those were the first symbols that I got as becoming an endorsee of my favorite company, cymbal company in the world, Zildjian. I've been playing those cymbals since I was 6. So I already mentally drained, pissed off. Then this happens, and I just have.
It was like
It was just
last
all
straw.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I was hustling to get back. I have to pack. I'm leaving at 6 a.m. All this stuff, and they come out and they're like, "Yo, what's wrong?" They kind of they essentially brought me back down.
Yeah.
I was livid in a way where like they've never seen that before. And when I'm in the practice shed and I can't get something and it just happens, that's kind of because I'm so hard on myself.
Yeah.
Nobody else is as hard on me as I can be on myself. So, but that was the first time that Rena didn't see it, but that's when they experienced it. And they were kind of like, I kind of freaked them out a little bit, I think. But them seeing that, they're like, hey, it's okay. Let's come back inside. And we ended up having a conversation for almost 2 hours after that. I was packing and we were talking about some life shit.
We were already worried about you. Like it was like,
I think
there was some other stuff going on too in the background. And we can just see it building in you.
We saw the signs. We saw like your energy
shifting.
We knew that. We didn't expect that, but when we heard it and saw it, we were like,
"Yeah, we have to talk.
Let's sit down
talk
and
about
talk.
it.
Like, what's going on? Like, why are you now here to this point?"
Yeah.
Kind of just
because like before LA, like I think everything was smooth sailing. Like you were ready to go, focused. Your mind was clear, and then when we got back, everything was it was happening so quickly.
And we did have like bumps in the road. Like our move was not as smooth as we would have really hoped it would have been.
Boy,
and
it
that
wasn't.
really was a big trigger for him in that whole scenario. And then
somebody didn't do their job. When somebody doesn't do their job, I'm like, yo, you're kind of ruining a lot of the stuff that I like mentally I have to prepare for.
Right.
So we're all moving at the same time. They're kind of doing their own stuff. My stuff's still in boxes.
You have my sister's personality where like things have to be in a certain way and you're like, okay, now we're functioning full throttle. And for me, I'm like, meh, like my brain doesn't work that way, so I can't relate, But to an extent it does. But yeah, I could totally see like, okay, well, that's the one thing that should always be in check because you have so many other areas to focus on.
Yeah.
And so let's actually run it back because the last time we spoke, you were just gonna go play at the Forum.
That's right.
And
there's been so much
has happened
it's crazy
since then. So let's kind of like unpack that. And it's amazing to hear the behind the scenes because you can, and this just goes for everybody. When you're in the chase and you're in the grind, right? Some of the truths of that is like, it's not bumpy. I mean, it's not smooth, it's bumpy. And there are points for everyone that everybody hits where you're like, whoa, I need a moment. And that's okay. I think that's when like the world gets heavy, but having a family that can read you so well and also cares enough to say something to bring you back down is like huge.
That was that experience for me. That helped so much. They calmed me back down. They walked me through a bunch of shit. We talked through a bunch of shit that we needed to as we're all moving in with each other and to move forward into this. I've always kind of envisioned that anyways. And now
forever you would talk about it with me. Like, oh man, I can't wait one day. Like, I mean, couple years.
Yeah, I know.
And now
guess what?
Like it just kind of happens super fast. Like from one, like, oh wait, they're all really.
I think it's like we were speaking it into existence. We've been talking about it for so long. Like Nick and I had been living in Dallas for the past like 5 years, but every time we'd come back to Austin, I'm like, this just always felt like home. Like we were always together doing stuff together. It just was like.
Felt right.
So we just started like, little did we know, sowing those seeds.
Yeah, working towards that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll unpack what happened. So we went to LA. You played at the Forum the first day.
First night.
Then the second night you played at
the YouTube Theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my sister and I actually had the opportunity to be there
at
the LA Forum. And if you've been to a local Kill Tony show, that's one thing. But an arena show, it is unlike anything else. And I think that was also part of Netflix as a joke
That's
thing.
right. That was a part of that whole weekend.
So I was like, this crowd is unhinged.
and you were there for both nights.
I was I was there for just one night.
Just the first night. You were there at the Forum. So that was the first show. So that specific show was insane. Insane. Crowds were booing during sets and it was like wild and Tony
Tony was like, what is up with the crowd?
Yeah. He had to rile them down to the point where like even at the YouTube Theater and even in New York, he was like, yo, we have to, like, if y'all want to boo, if they suck, whatever, wait till their minute is over.
Yeah.
So that you came to an unhinged show for sure.
Well, and then so that was that show, and that was the biggest shows yet for you.
Yeah,
and
at that point.
Yeah. And then
correct.
coming down off of those highs, then that's when you got the call for Keith Urban.
I had got the call before.
Before that. I think right when we did the interview, but you weren't saying anything.
Yeah, I don't think I had said anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've with the Keith stuff, I got a call in April.
Keith Urban, guys.
Yeah.
Like legend.
Yeah.
One of our faves too.
Yeah.
Like growing up,
It's mom's
insane.
Mom's favorite artist. Mom, like she's still like, okay, so when are you playing with him? Because I have to be there. He's coming to San Antonio in February. She's like, you're gonna play, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna play. So we're gonna go and we're gonna watch you. He's coming to San Antonio. You have to play.
Right.
So I was like,
we're there to see you, but
I mean, no. She's there to see him. Let's be honest here. She's there to see him, and it's good. It's great.
Hey,
hopefully I'm on that show. But so she's the only one that's actually experienced a show with him that I've actually played.
With Keith.
okay.
Yeah.
Where was that one at?
Club Dada in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was outside.
I didn't even know till like last minute. I was supposed to be like working that evening. I got my shift changed and I went with him and literally sat in the corner, like stage left.
Wow.
And just
She sat
was,
behind
like,
me.
I sat right behind him.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was just like peeking over, just like honestly, that's what I do at these shows. I just take it all in. I take pictures really for him, but I'm just like soaking it all up because it is still like so wild. Like in the moment, you're enjoying it and you're like, whoa, what is this life? But afterwards, I always kind of reflect. I'm like how blessed are we?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think it's oh, that just gave me chills. I think it's surreal because like you grew up with your family and your grandpa and like just the simplest life pleasures, you know, like
family.
just family sewing into you and running around. And I think your dad this past weekend was showing me a picture of like holding a I think it was a rattlesnake or something. Yeah.
All of us.
All the cousins.
Yeah.
All of us. With Rob and Kinda and everybody
those
was
are
there.
Yeah, just like simple times. And then to like blink, it feels like we just blinked and you're on the stage with Keith Urban.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It is unreal. And can we go back to my grandfather real quick?
Yeah.
So the reason I'm going to get emotional, but the reason why we're here is because him and my grandmother, every time we went to the house and spent time with them and left, they always prayed over us. Always. And I think that is because they're so God-fearing people, that kind of branched down to what we're doing today.
Yeah.
And we always have the shield of God protecting us wherever we are. We had a moment in LA that I'm not going to really talk about, but that happened, but we all came together after that. It was one significant experience that we held together, and that it just the shield of God really protected all of us in that moment. And for everything that's happening to me and my family, that I'm blessed to be able to experience all this crazy shit with them. They're all there with me. You're there with me, and it's because of them and they sowed the seed of God into all of us, and I truly feel that protection everywhere we go. So I have to thank him, and I have to thank God for doing that, because if it wasn't for him, I don't think any of this would be possible at all. And I just wanted to say that because you brought it up, and I need to say that right now. So
That was powerful.
Yeah.
Love that you said that.
Yeah.
Okay, we can end it right here.
yeah, you always, for some reason we always talk about family, and it's so important to me that I get to do all this stuff with them, because they sacrifice so much. And I wish my family would have got to experience this with them, but I think my grandpa would have wheelchair his ass out of what happened this weekend, because it's kind of a crazy show.
Yeah.
But hopefully one day they'll all be able to experience it with me. But I can bring them.
Yeah.
And none of these experiences would have been as great as they were without them. I can't do it by myself. I really can't.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. So the love and support that I get from my own family, I don't really care about anything else.
Yeah.
They get to enjoy this with me, because that's just, it has to happen like that.
I think it's amazing because the Gonzales family, they're all about family.
That's all it is.
And
yeah.
God, family.
Yeah.
And I think that is amazing, because there are so many, not just famous people or celebrities, but just people that as you start to reach a certain level of success, like you're so caught up in the chase, like you're so caught up in this grind that when you reach this level of success, you forget who was there along the way. And Mike, I think that speaks volumes, not just to you, but really like how you all were raised and continue to carry that it is about family. Because then for what?
Right.
It doesn't
like,
mean anything.
Playing
None
on
of this
stage, like on the biggest stages, and closing your eyes and just imagining, and like in the people that you love, like don't even get to see it, you know? For what, right?
Yeah.
And so that's so amazing. But absolutely a hedge of protection. And then because I think in this life, like you can really want to open up a door, but if God keeps it closed, you're like, okay, that's for a reason.
Yeah.
But then again, when you like walk, and I've watched you just alongside you the last couple of years, honor that walk of obedience and have seen how God opens up those doors for you and how you bring your whole family with you and me. I'm like, we're coming along with
but you're probably there too. So like all that you're always welcome.
Well, and I'm so grateful, and I don't take it lightly, just to be able to witness that, but how all of you are wired, and it's a big testament to your parents too.
Absolutely.
And I'm in awe of like your dad at just his face light up. Your mom too, but as soon as you start playing, it's like he immediately pops up like popcorn out of his chair. Or when he hears something different and he knows that it's different, like the horns were playing. He's like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Oh!" Like his face just lights up. But
not everybody gets to have that experience.
Yeah. So, should we call him?
You want to call him? Let's call him.
He's
Mike, I wish you could see his reaction in the crowd.
Yeah.
He's like,
I wish they wouldn't take away our phones.
I know.
honestly, we probably could have brought the phones back with you because they had an opening thing in backstage for some of the people. Let's see if
I'm like, I don't care about recording all of the jokes that are happening. I just want to record.
Yeah, but it's okay. That's fine. All right, let's see what's up.
Note to the manager.
Right. Need to go out into the crowd more. Let's see if he answers.
Hello.
What's up, Pop? You're on.
You're live on the show.
What?
You're live on the podcast right now. We're with Kristen and the girls.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking.
I rose first.
Okay.
And then go work my way back.
Kristen wants to ask you a little something.
We were just. Can you hear me? Okay. I have
Yes, I can.
I have you in the microphone. But we were just talking about you, and Mike is just edifying the family and how you all raised him and how Mr. and Mrs. G raised everyone with being God-fearing but also family. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's so surreal to watch you and Sandra as Mikey like starts to play at the first like beats on the drum, and you just pop out of your seat and you're like, oh, there's horns on the show, and it's just amazing. What is your perspective watching Mikey grow up and then now see him on the biggest stages as a dad?
Well, I mean, he's earned it. He has put in the work that we told him years ago that he had to put in.
Yeah.
And he's earned his job. As all my kids, I mean, they've listened, they've done what they were supposed to do, and they've all earned their degrees and stuff. So yeah, whatever good things come from it, they've earned it. Me and Sandra really have, all we did was just guide them. Guide them along the way. If they needed anything, well, we were there for them. If they needed, advice, we were both there for them. So, but yes, Mikey has earned his spot, and so have my other girls. And
I said, I know that you didn't. Obviously, you're not in the room, so you didn't hear this part. But I had said the one thing that I admire so much about your family is each of the kids all have work ethic. And that's something that you can't take away, but it was taught when they were really young. And they all apply it in their own respective spaces. Mike just so happened to apply it to a career that works towards a stage, but the girls as well, each of them having work ethic and also just the ability to get along with everybody.
Yeah,
I think
huge.
that comes from you, Abel.
That does.
Yes.
Well, I guess so.
Hey, don't lie. You know it is.
Don't get humble on us now.
Oh well, I mean, I'm glad our kids are doing fine, and Michael's doing good as well, and we're proud. We're proud of all of them. So, yeah, they're doing good, and that's all I could say. I'm so happy, and we're just me and his mom are just along for the ride now.
Yeah, enjoying life.
Yeah,
living large.
Well, we're trying to.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that the kids are gonna call you right after we're done, but we're gonna keep asking some questions.
Okay. Well, you guys have a great afternoon, and just behave, girls.
Okay.
Love you, Pop. We'll call you after.
Love you.
All right, bye.
A little cameo.
Yeah, Pop's on the podcast.
Yeah, I would say he's your biggest fan.
I would
sure.
say that too.
100%.
Yeah.
He outweighs everyone, I think.
By far.
Yeah, and when he's traveled with Mike to play and he's backstage, he's like, "Hi, how are you?" Like introducing himself to everybody, like making friends. Like that. By the time my brother comes back, he like knows everybody already.
Yeah.
He like lives for it.
Yep.
Yeah, he really does. It's amazing to see, like, as kids, that like the phases of life, like through your parents' eyes. Like now now they've raised you and you're the adult. You're like, well, when did I become the adult? But then you see them. Like,
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you always still need your parents, I think, in just different ways as you get older. But going back to Keith Urban.
KU.
And and just getting those phone calls, and then it was announced. When was it announced for New York for MSG with Kill Tony? Was that all around the same time?
I think we announced
Christmas
that.
Eve?
Yeah.
No.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we announced MSG in the Forum New Year's Eve this past year.
Okay.
New Year's Eve,
So
December.
it was like at HEB.
It was at HEB,
And then they announced LA and MSG.
And MSG.
And initially it was like one show, and then sold out, and then added another show.
That's right.
So I think, and crazy to have been there. I had never been in New York City, so I was just like, I'm like, the subway, this is amazing. Like the littlest things. I'm like filming everything.
I know.
Like,
She's filming the rats in the fucking subway. Oh my God, look at that.
No, actually, like we were walking in Central Park, and I think it was
It
somebody
was
grabbed
me.
me
I
from
saw the mouse because she was right next to it, like walking towards it, and she was just like
filming everything.
I was like, oh my God, Kristen. And she's like, the full New York experience.
Yeah. I was like, dang, I should have got that on video too.
Yeah.
No, but playing at MSG, what was that like? What's the difference between LA MSG for you being on stage?
Well, there was a lot more people on stage for this one, for sure. So, I mean, we had Marcus King on stage with us. We had the Black Keys on stage with us night too.
Legendary.
Legendaries. Like I never thought I'd play with Patrick and Dan. Like those guys are incredible musicians, and we played their hits. And actually, beforehand, when we were sound checking, which the second night we actually got a good sound check. We sound checked Marcus, we sound checked them, and then we got our ears. Everything was cool. They walk up on stage, they're waiting on the side. I was like, oh shit, we're about to play with them. This is gonna be sick.
Crazy.
So they come up, and Patrick sees me. He comes up, shakes my hand. What's up, dude? How are you? And then Nick, my buddy, percussionist, played with us all weekend. Nick Rothaus, incredible musician, incredible drummer, percussionist. We're talking with Pat, and I was like, "Yo, dude, what like?" This is your time. Like, I don't want to play drums. You tell me what you want us to do. And he looks at me and goes, no, man, you play drums. You know the songs, play with us. It's going to be sick. We're going to have fun. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Sick. Yeah, and we looked at each other and he was like, yeah, tambourines, tambourine backbeats, shakers, all that stuff. So he pretty much was like, you're musicians, play along, you know the songs, have fun. And that's what we did.
Isn't that amazing? Because like now you've worked your way up to a place where you're respected.
Yeah.
By like you are like you're no longer like the greatest and here. Like you are respected by the greatest.
That's all thanks to Tony. Tony and Joe brought Tony here, and Tony put us all on, and we've built like he's built this, been building it for 13, 14 years. When they came to Texas, he brought us all on, John D's brought us all on. D Manis, Matt Muelling, and now the Groove Line horns, Carlos, Fernie, and Braulo. Like all like we're all the band now. And he's put us on and given us a platform to do what we've been doing for years in Austin.
Yeah.
Before that, like we were just, we've been doing this.
Yeah.
And he's given us this bigger platform, and yeah, we've grown with him in the past couple of years through all the venues that we've been. But I have to give thanks to those guys. I mean, it's incredible. Like now we're able to play. Like I met it's funny, I didn't know this, but I had met Marcus last year when I was on tour with Miles, doing the tour. We had in June of last year we did a week with Marcus King as a feature, and Tyler Childers on, like he was the headlining act, and we did a whole week with them. We probably did like 5 shows, and I like huge. I would sit there every night and watch Marcus King just absolutely shred the whole band. The whole band was incredible. And then Tyler comes on and blows everybody out of the water. It's insane. In Chicago, I got to see Soundcheck, and we got to hang for a bit and met the drummer. And out comes Marcus, and I was like, oh shit, I want to say hi. I said hello to him, and I not knowing that he was a fan of me. He was a fan of Kill Tony. I had no idea. We just said hello to each other, and he's like, yo man, yeah. Walks back, and not until a couple weeks ago when Matt Muelling was out on tour, and John goes, yo, Mark's gonna sit in with us tonight for the entire show. And I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be incredible.
Yeah.
He sends us the tunes, we learn the tunes when we get to sound check, everything goes good. But I see him and I go, yo dude, like good to see you. I met you in Chicago. And he goes, oh dude, I remember. Like he remembered me. And I had no idea that he was a fan of the show the entire time. So like things like this are starting to occur, and it's wild. So being able to play with Marcus and all these guys, and just it to me, it's all mind blowing.
Yeah.
To see.
I think we were flying back yesterday, and we were in the airport, and you said something about that as well. But then I asked you about I'm like, do you get followers like every day? Because I saw you open up your thing, and you're like, and and you're like, it's like nothing changes.
Yeah, none of that.
But that was a testament to like who you are, because to some people, everything changes,
Yeah. This is the thing for me.
Yeah.
What we're doing right now, this family fellowship of us talking about what we've just experienced, that's why I do this.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, thank you. For all the Kill Tony fans out there, like we all appreciate it so much. We all appreciate that you're watching the show with us and coming and experiencing these shows live. Like without y'all, we couldn't do this.
Right.
This is a live show. It doesn't work without a live audience. And Tony knows that. We all know that. So thank you guys for supporting us always. So it's not like nothing changes. It's great, but none of the social media stuff.
Like the core value.
Yeah.
Of why you do what you do.
None of that really means anything. This and being up there and working and playing music, that's the true thing. With all my friends, I've envisioned this for a long time.
Yeah.
All of us have been playing music here in these clubs, in Continental Club, like Sea Boys, Empire, like all these places. We've been doing this since.
Well, my question to you was, do you all rehearse this? Like, do you ever get together? Because my idea of like a band is, okay, we have scheduled practice, or I sang praise and worship years
ago.
Back when I was in Brownsville, like I was young, and it was like, okay, practice weekly, and then to play at the level that you all play, in my mind, somebody who's not a musician, I think like, oh, they're probably like getting together weekly to practice. And you're like, no.
No. Well, we do have, so we all play. I mean, we're essentially playing 2-3 times a week with each other. Groove Line horns every Tuesday night at 11, from 11 to 1 or 11 to 1:30. We're there. That's John on keys. Matt Muelling on guitar, the entire Groove Line horns, all 3 of them, Carlos, Raulo, and Fernie. Me on percussion. We have Charles on drums, who is a fucking incredible drummer. He's also like, he's a really good friend of mine. He's taken me kind of under his wing, and he shows me everything. So like I'm getting better as a musician just by hanging out, like playing percussion with him, watching him every night. So that's on Tuesday nights. We're all together all the time. Yep. Then on Thursday nights, we have the homies, which is John. It's essentially the Kill Tony band. John on organ and whatever he brings. Matt, guitar. Dane Relaford on keys, so it's double keys. And then Charles again on drums and me on percussion. So we're doing Kill Tony Monday night, Groove Line Horns Tuesday night, the homies Thursday night, and we're always creating with each other.
Yeah.
It's not just on that. So we're not getting together to rehearse, but we're rehearsing every week. We're playing
live rehearsing.
In front of people. It's like Tony going and doing sets at the Mothership every night. He's
getting
there,
those reps in.
absolutely. And being a band, we get reps with each other. Now, I may not always be on drum set. I also play percussion, and I get to play with my favorite drummers in town. So I'm always learning, whether I'm like me and Nick, before we left for New York, Nick and I were both on percussion playing with Charles. And we had Dane, like that was Dane's first night back because he's been on tour with Gary. Like everybody's doing something.
Yeah.
But when everybody's here, we're playing. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
11 to 1 or 11 to 1:30.
And then outside of that, you are always practicing. I went to your house the other day. I forgot. I think we were going to Andy's place, and you were just like practicing there. And you didn't even notice that I walked in. You were just like practicing, and they're like, "Has he seen you yet?" I'm like, "No, he's practicing." But that's just like who you are. It's like your whole being. It's what you do.
Yeah.
Peel back the curtain to what, because I asked you, like, how do you guys improv so well? And you're like, oh, this would be, if you could do like a mic'd up for the band, that would be a genius idea for you all, because you have your ears or whatever. You were telling me the whole story. I'm like, amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, some people have asked about like, well, man, what do y'all talk about in your
Because you guys are talking into a microphone, right? To each other.
Yeah. That's the reason why we can, like, we'll hear a reference on, like, when a comedian says something or an open micer says something, we'll be like, oh, that'd be funny if we play that.
Oh, okay.
Or like, oh, man, like, let's play this song, Walking Him Off, or let's play this song, and the references hit.
Yeah.
Like, and also it does have to do with, like, chemistry. Because we've been playing with each other, it just, we all hang out with each other. John and I work out with each other every day and on it. We're getting Matt in soon. Matt, you better, I know you coming. So
your
like,
roll call.
Yep. Josh D's handler, like Jesus Josh, he's always with us at On It. So like, it's a family. We're always hanging out outside and then also playing music together. And it's crazy that we get to experience the like playing in these arenas that I've always kind of envisioned that as like just the most fun playing music with my friends. That's what it is. That's why it feels natural. It doesn't like, I got nervous, I got butterflies when you get out there, but people are like, man, how do you feel? How do you feel? Like, I feel prepared. We did the work. Now it's time to let's go have fun on stage.
I mean, at one point, I think somebody took a picture of you and you're like drumming and filming.
Yeah, that's actually, Rudy took that. Rudy Limas, yeah, he was watching the feed. He sends me the picture of me doing this. That's the very end of the show, night 2. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Rogan, Joey Coco Diaz, Shane Gillis as Trump, Adam Ray as Biden.
This is legendary.
Legendary. Tony, Red Band, Marcus King, all the band. We had an entirely different horn section. Heidi's out there. It's confetti's popping out everywhere. Standing ovation in the crowd. Like, I'm taking it all in, playing with one hand. And actually, John jumps over from the keyboards. He comes, plays drums with me, so I'm going right there. And John, and we're all in it. It's the end of the show. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And then even before that, Aaron Rodgers comes up and he brings out a bunch of footballs, which is, we had done this before, which funny enough, like Johnny Manziel was supposed to come up New Year's Eve to come do that. And he didn't show up, so we were all doing it. Aaron Rodgers comes up, throws me I'm on my drums like, Aaron. He looks up at me, tosses me a ball, and him and I are just chucking darts into the,
what a childhood dream, like, that you didn't even know you would.
Crazy. Aaron Rodgers, John, we're all throwing footballs into the crowd at like sold out crowd into MSG, and then I come out beside him. He tosses me another one, and I just sling this dart right in the middle, and I'm ready to like with all my heart and soul trying to bust this like football into the middle of the crowd, and he's just chilling.
Yeah.
And this man threw all the way back to the arena, and just, I mean, I've never seen anybody just so casually just boom,
it's like,
almost hit
like when a vocalist just like naturally hits like the highest note and
Insane.
holds it for the longest, and you're like, how? And we try and we're like cracking voices.
For sure.
That was him. He's just like,
just years and years of prep for this moment. No, I'm just kidding. But like it was incredible to watch an NFL MVP quarterback just lazy all the way to the back of the arena, almost hitting the Jumbotron. And I'm losing my shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm trying my best to like throwing ducks out in the crowd. Like it was
I think
just.
you had a fan come up to you afterwards, right?
Yeah.
That they caught your football.
Well, actually, it was a DM. He messaged me. He's like, dude, I caught your football. I was in the middle of the arena. I didn't even make it past the middle. But he's like, bro, you threw me a dart, bro. I was like, yes, I did, dude. Yes, I did. Practicing every day for
You're like,
this
okay,
moment.
noted. Now I need to practice drums
Right,
and my throat.
I know. No more ducks, dude. No more ducks. But yeah, so like I get back on the drums, and it's incredible. Confetti's coming on like everything, and it all happened so quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It all happened so quickly. It just taking it all in and realizing what we all just did.
Yeah.
2 nights sold out at Madison Square Garden, the first time that a podcast has ever done anything like this. And then you realize, like, I don't want to put that into my head at the beginning because that's too much pressure. So you go up and you do it, and then we did. And then after it's all said and done, like, Bri and I are backstage. I'm running out, taking my drum head everywhere.
That's also an experience in itself. Like, us as his sisters, like, we knew he'd be big, but to walk out of an arena of like crowds waiting for anybody from the show to walk out, really.
Yeah.
And then just to see everybody blow up, Michael, and then like pulling him, like wanting all the pictures, and we're just standing there. They're probably like, who are these girls right behind us?
We look like his bodyguards / groupies.
It's,
like,
no. It's true. Like even Bri was like, because there was a couple people, you know, that it's a little bit rude. You come in, they're just like inserting themselves, which is fine. You know, I'll get to everybody. But Bri's like, hey, there's this couple right here. There's this couple right here. They've been waiting patiently. Let's go to them. And to see the look on their faces, because they weren't going to say anything. They were just going to wait.
Yeah, that's what I noticed about the couple. It's and that's one thing about the first night. It was like people were just coming up because they had full access to him. He's walking out by himself with me right next to him. We're looking for like you guys.
Yeah.
And people are just bombarding him. But when you sit back and just want to watch it, you see the couples that, not even couples, just other people in general, standing there quietly, kind of patiently waiting their turn to get like a picture,
a moment of time.
A moment of time, really. And then others who just are just trying to like get his attention, and like they don't care about anybody. So that's my thing too, is like I watch him and I'm like, I see those people and I'm like, I want your time to go to who these people who are like patiently waiting and want to, and who are honestly like me. When I see these people backstage, I'm like there's no way I'm going up to them. Like I will wait from afar and be like, hi, it's so nice to be in your presence.
The one picture with the drum head.
Yes, with the drum head. I'm just like looking
with
at
Aaron Rodgers.
Like,
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Well, I'll send you that picture. You can put the picture in the thing. So my face is like, oh, what's up, dude? Like it looks like I'm high as hell. He's signing the autograph, and her face is like,
but also he's just so handsome.
So tall.
So handsome. So tall. Handsome. Like you see him in pictures, but you know, like people, like you don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes people look different in person. You see him, you're like, oh yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
He is accurate. Checks out.
It was hard eyes all night.
all night. Even for me. Oh my God. It's
crazy.
It's also, so after that too, we're walking, and y'all, like some of y'all are in the back because they finally got the VIPs back there, and in comes Rogan with Dice and a couple other people, and the look on my mom's face when Rogan passes by, she's like, oh my god. And I asked Rogan, like, I was getting everybody to sign the drum head as you know, a keepsake for me. This is the first time. Maybe, I mean, who knows when I'll go play it again. And I was like, yo, shook Rogan's hand. It was great playing, like, great to be on stage with you. You mind if I get your signature, because I'm getting everybody who performed? He's like, yeah, no problem. Does it, and then my mom comes over. She goes, Joe Rogan, I'm Michael's mom. But the look on her face, she was so incredibly happy, and he's just like, oh, you know, he took the time, shook her hand, and she's just, oh my god, and then comes back and just sits in her corner, and it was the craziest thing to see.
It's like it makes all of the practice and all.
It's
of
all
the,
worth it.
Yeah.
All worth it.
So the crack cymbal moment, it makes.
I don't know if that was worth it. Yeah.
But it makes all of those like bumpy roads so worth it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
they're necessary.
They are necessary, absolutely. But then it goes back to them on, like, they were there to, because I don't usually, that happens in my drum shed. Nobody sees that, and they were there to build some confidence back into me. And without that, I mean, you know, I feel bad for people who don't have that in their life, for don't have a support system that builds and builds and builds, because we all build together. None of this is by myself. None of it. None of it. Especially on the Kill Tony stage, we do it as a band. And we're following Tony's every move, him and Red Band.
Back to Tony, because I've had the opportunity to meet him a couple of times, and it's amazing because you see them on the show, or you see him in particular on the show, and one, he's a legend in comedy. Like, I don't think anybody can touch him right now as far as like how quick he comes back. I'm like, how does he think of these things?
That's
it's
right.
amazing.
That's right.
But then behind the scenes, like meeting him in person, like just as a person, I'm like, oh my gosh, he has the biggest heart for people.
That's right.
Which is a huge testament to why the show is what it is. Because you won't follow a person that's leading in a negative way, you know? It's just so much easier to follow somebody who's rooted and has a good heart and good intentions. And I think that's why it's just blown up, because those blessings will come for the right people, and it's definitely for him and everybody that's a part of the journey. So
that's right. Yeah.
Definitely wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
But there are
exactly
some
right.
bigger stages coming for you, and what do you have on the agenda next outside of so Kill Tony, and then outside of that?
So in September, I'm actually I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it. Yeah. There's some stuff with KU for sure. And then we're doing Kill Tony on the 25th of September for Skankfest.
In Vegas.
In Vegas.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday night in Vegas for Skankfest. And I'm looking forward to doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think now participating in LA Arena and then New York Arena, they just bring different people. Like, it will be interesting to see what Vegas brings. One, because it's just like such a spot that so many people travel to for so many reasons. But outside of that, like, I just don't know who will show up for it. Like, what kind of crowd it'll be. It's going to be a different crowd.
It's going to be an interesting crowd. Skankfest is pretty crazy. I've done a Skankfest before in Houston, and we did we did a Kill Tony in Houston. It didn't get aired because it was crazy.
Really?
There's so many people on mushrooms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a fun crowd, and it's all like intense comedy vibes, and I can't wait to play it. Like, on the 25th, please, if you want to see some crazy shit happen in Vegas, that's the place to be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
so mark it in your calendars.
Mark it in your calendars.
Flights. Yeah.
We're already doing that now. Yeah. I don't think I'm allowed to say that, so I'm not gonna say.
Well, New Year's Eve was announced.
The New Year's Eve was announced at Madison Square Garden, so we're doing.
No.
HEB.
I'm sorry. Imagine again. Run it back, dude.
Back to Madison
Back
Square.
to MSG, dude. We're getting it. Running it back. No. So HEB Center here in Austin just got announced. Pre-sale was already on. I think tickets are already on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Dang, those are some big plans. So if you don't have big plans, make these your big plans.
Make them the big plans. Yeah.
I know that there's always friends here locally are always trying to get on the Kill Tony ticket list. Like whenever they come out, it's just
tough.
Yeah. So sometimes if you really want that experience, just go to the arena. It's a different experience.
It is.
Really.
Yeah, it will make up for not being able to get tickets locally.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely experience both because they're both different environments.
Yeah.
Completely different environment. Completely different environment.
And you miss the ticket wave.
Yeah, it's they go quick, and the line, like for the comedy. Oh, also to people who are buying tickets online, do not buy secondhand tickets. They're not gonna let you in.
Yeah,
it's not a thing. So if you don't get them right there with your name on it, with your credit card, with your ID, all that stuff, do not buy secondhand. I've already had so many people like, oh, I did this. We can't do anything. They won't do anything about it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually a good testament to like not, or having people poach these tickets or like oversell these tickets, because the buck has to stop somewhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're very good about that.
Sometimes they have to be the good and bad guys, right? At the same time. I want to go back to family, and I know that we've kind of been all over the place with your journey, but I want to go back to just each one of you all, because it's very important to see how, one, you guys were raised as family, but each of you played an important role independently for Mike as you've grown up. As a drummer. What would you say is the biggest thing that you've contributed, whether it's been like the way your personality, because you've been really quiet over here.
Everybody's laughing.
Have I been quiet?
Y'all don't know. Is Samayia, okay, so from the outside looking in, you two are very similar.
We are the most similar. Her
and with that, like, you're the most extroverted person. You meet anybody.
We both compete for that.
Right, but that's why her sitting here not getting a peep out of her. I'm like,
girl, you better talk.
I want you guys to have your moment.
All right, now it's your moment to shine.
Well, besides being, so social and stuff, I think you look to me for a lot of advice.
A lot of mental stuff.
Mental health stuff.
A lot of mental health stuff.
And
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like a mental health perspective. And then also like we do balance each other out in a way where like I really won't stop, and he'll come to a point where he's like, all right, social battery drained, and I'm just like, no, let's keep going.
Yeah, I know. We experienced that this weekend.
This weekend, I was like, no, we're not going home yet. We're in New York on this rooftop.
I know.
With all of these, incredible people.
Yeah. Right. She loves the whole environment of that, and it's when I'm done playing, it's like I can only handle so much, and then I want to go sleep. Yeah. I let them experience the stuff that I don't drink, I don't smoke, and not to say that they're partiers, but they love to be around that, and that's great. And I want to,
how do you say that in Spanish? Ambiente or something like that? I don't know.
Oh,
we're the wrong people.
Wow.
Ask us.
Don't ask them.
Do not ask.
Never mind.
Yeah, don't ask them.
We're what you call the no hablos. Unfortunately.
No más inglés.
No, but Mike has always just been that person too. Like, he will go to the party, have as much fun as he wants until he's just done, and then he's like, okay, I'm out.
Well, he's the one who's going in, saying hello, and then tapping out.
Right.
He's not really sticking around for long, whereas I am like, party's here.
Party city. And it's true. It really is.
She lives for it, and she does the best in those situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really do.
Like, she just loves the energy she gets from different people and like talking and meeting.
And then also, you always, because I'm more like you, but then kind of like you all in the sense that like I'm not the most extroverted person, but I will go and like, greet everyone, say hi, have a good time. But then I'm like, see ya, I'm gone.
I'm out.
But I always look for the person that's like very extroverted like you, because you will like help me mingle. And it's okay to be. So I need that person. That person for me is my sister, because she's definitely the one that will like pull me out. Like, no, we're going to go do this today. I'm like, okay, fine.
We all balance each other out in a way. Like with one of us like lacks something, someone else brings that.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So for you and your what you bring to the table.
My addition.
Your addition. Is that's so interesting about mental health. What are some like tips that you give?
Well, tell her, like, you work in mental health.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do work in mental health. I always just
Tell the people.
Yeah.
I mean, I
To know.
I make sure that all of us are just leading with love and light. And I always say, like, if we continue to stay true to ourselves and to our values and all
To
that,
each other, for sure. First. Yeah.
then there's no way it'll
Yeah.
go wrong. And it comes back to us tenfold.
Yeah.
So I was like, lead with love and light, and it, we'll get it.
Yeah.
Even though we have 6 or 7 years in between us, she has a lot of ways for me to deal with that. She's on. I mean, kind of like my therapist, which need to get one now.
Let me find you one.
Yeah. Right. So like I go to her when I'm struggling with stuff like that. Same as you.
Yeah.
You and I talk about.
Yeah.
I mean everything.
I think that, and you said this yesterday, you're like, I'm just a lover of people.
I am.
And you
I
love
really enjoy
so
it.
big, like whether it's a relationship or even just people that you meet. Like
Yeah.
you just like you give up so much of yourself, and like sometimes
Yeah.
you have to like reel that in. So like making sure that your heart is in a good place, but
Yeah.
also like, hey,
See, and that's where the
That's
balance
where they
is.
balance.
Is we're the same in that we're like, we see the good in or we want to see the good in everyone, and we love hard from the very start. Whereas they're watching and they're very observant and they have a guard up. And there are reminders like, hey, we need to just let's slow down a little
not
bit.
everybody
and-
is your
Exactly.
bestie.
Well, not everybody is deserves your time.
Yeah.
I think that's where they come in for sure. And you're kind of like that too, because they spend a lot of time together, and when we're together, she pumps that into my brain. But
Yeah.
it's for me like the same. I want to talk to everybody. I like people. Not when I'm driving though. If you're driving 60 in the fast, the fuck go. But I'm saying that they really, really help in that process in realizing. I mean, she was there this weekend when all the people were coming in. It's like, also, y'all are waiting on me, and we're having to do this thing really quickly. And she's like, okay, so now I'm gonna have to say no for some of the stuff because now it's family time.
Yeah.
So that's something that I need to get used to as well. It's like I have all of y'all.
Exactly. It definitely is a balance, and you know what? Andy was the one who mentioned that to me. He's like, it's okay for you to go up and be like, hey, we got to cut it off here. Like, they're just gonna have to understand.
Because there
like,
will be
from
no
now-
end.
Exactly.
There won't be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shout
So
out Andy. He's
I know,
also a member
shout
of
out
the family.
Yeah, Andy
Love
Frog, best friend.
you.
Now he's a part of the Gonzales familia. He pretty much did everything with us this weekend.
He did.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, he's been in specifically in the comedy industry for, I mean, God knows how long. So he's also been a mentor to Bree on now trying to do this for me.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and he's worked with so many different people,
Right.
and he's got so much knowledge. And
Specifically with your sisters over the weekend, I was like, how did you get them to come back home
God.
that night? 'Cause you were like so outgoing, and he's like, I literally just went.
round them up, dude.
I don't know how I
He did
listened
the
to
mom
him.
finger and was
I
like,
didn't-
come on.
I didn't
like, okay.
I didn't even listen to my own dad, but Andy somehow got me out of there.
I know. I'm gonna let Andy like control y'all all of it. I'm gonna go home. Andy, he's like, dude, I got you. I got you.
We're gonna let Andy start handling that now, because I even tried. I was like, okay, I could stay 10 more minutes, but I'm
you were right
so
behind
tired.
She was right behind us. We thought you were gonna stay.
And then I was like, I went up to Andy. I was like, are you gonna stay with them? I was like, I want to go. He was like, okay, well, I'm gonna say my goodbyes, and then I'll bring them home with me. I'm like, do whatever you can.
Yeah.
But he got him out.
He did. He got him out because we were supposed to wake up.
Against my will.
They were all having fun with Aaron Rodgers and Shane and all these guys, and Andy's like, let's go.
Got him out.
Let's go.
There'll be other
the time,
times, so it's okay.
Rena, what would you say, being the youngest sibling? You have such a unique perspective because I think of you as my sister because my sister and you are the same age.
Yeah.
And with growing up with all the older siblings. And so you grow up a lot faster.
Yeah.
But you also have a really unique perspective of life. Like, I forget that my sister's childhood was not my childhood.
Yeah.
Same as like how you were raised, like it was not how she was raised, just because so much time has passed, and maybe parents get wiser or they just they just raise differently. I'm like, why are you so strict on me and not on my sister or whatever, like vice versa. So anyway, what do you feel like you bring as to contributing into who Mike's been today? Because it's a very unique perspective and such a big age gap too.
I don't know.
If I could say, I'm like, just in getting to know you even more since you've been living here, is like you're the spicy one, and like you also don't have like you're gonna set the record straight.
Yeah. She has a sort of protectiveness that is different from both of them. Like very protective over us as a family, but over me spending like other people's time as well. Like she has a very good understanding on that. And that's how I learned about not everybody is deserved of my time. So she brings that.
Yeah, I grew up really shy. I just grew up really shy, so like I didn't talk when I was younger. I was always just listening and observing, so that's really helped me like kind of like pick and choose people. So, but yeah, I will say like I'm definitely very protective of all of them. Maya knows firsthand just how mean I can be.
She's the toughest to get through for sure.
She is.
If you're trying to get through any of us, worry about that one.
Truly.
I also have the face for it, so
she won't hide it too. You'll know. Yeah. You'll know right away that she's not, not having it with you.
And like I think I'm also really like understanding in a sense, but you do me wrong. There's no coming back.
Uh-oh.
You mess up
my
once.
family wrong, and that's it.
Yeah.
You draw the line in the concrete.
Pretty much, So I think I try to like. I feel like I'm really hard on you and Samayia just because like me and Brie are so similar, so we just really understand each other. But because like they are the most social butterflies, where we're very like
they're very trusting of people.
Yeah, and we're just like it takes a while. To get through to us.
Up for us.
Yeah, so we're just like, hey.
Just be careful.
So like, what are your actual intentions?
Yeah. So we're like we're like, let's take off the rose glasses. And let's see it for what it is. You know?
I think that you have
us with our rose glasses. I'm not taking them off. I'm not taking them off.
My designer rose glasses.
No, these were $500.
These were Prada.
I'm not taking them off.
That's so funny. No, that is so true. I think that maybe that's a little sibling thing. That's my sister for sure.
Definitely being the youngest sibling. I'm like a little bit of a weird amalgamation of all of them and my own.
Yeah.
So. Dang, amalgamation, dude. What does that word mean? What does that word mean?
That's a big word.
Wow. She's also
really smart.
They're also smarter, way smarter than me. So that helps.
We're also just girls. So.
Yeah.
We just know more.
I will say this is one of my favorite memories.
Oh no.
Bree's wedding.
Wait.
Almost
2 years ago now. We all spoke on behalf of my sister and Nick. And me being the oldest sibling and just, I was like, I got it. I didn't write anything down. I spoke from the heart. And I like coming off the mic, I was like, dude, I did.
Real chill.
Real chill.
He did what he needed to.
I did, yeah. I was like, oh, dude, I made people laugh. I crushed it, you know. And then each one of them come up and like have a very like heartfelt, almost a novel written about her, each of them. And I was like, who are these? Who are they right now?
You guys, I thought we were supposed to wing it.
Yeah. And they the amount, like I was looking around and seeing people crying, and she's saying exactly like very proud, exactly how she felt, and just every emotion that they wanted to convey and every thought that they wanted to tell her came through perfectly. And I'm like, what? But it was really beautiful to see that like I have amazing, beautiful, smart, incredible people around me, and it showed. Like they all read books and like they're in their spare time they all read. I don't. I'm an idiot like that.
You're the art keeper.
Yeah.
You're practicing.
Yeah, I do. You know, but it was so beautiful to see that. And that's one of my favorite memories of us as a family, and like honoring her in her new life with her new husband. Shout out Nick, you know, like
we love Nick.
That's a beautiful segue and a big segue, because I've of course gotten to know Nick over the last couple of years, but then spent the weekends in LA and then New York. And what an amazing husband, and just like raising the bar for your sisters and for myself, because he's got like the most patience.
Oh, boy.
Also,
if you're gonna be in this family, you gotta have all the patience.
All the patience, but also like so special, because I know that for me in dating, what's been hard is like we value family so much, and some people don't necessarily have it as a priority as like extended family, like their own family, like immediate family, but the extension of family, and just very welcoming. And he just loves that about you and your family. And it's just it's encouraging to see that that's out there.
It is. It is. And it's also, I think, it's like a lot of people don't get to experience that when they're younger, when they're growing up. A lot of families don't have that.
Right.
And we're
Very
blessed
special.
to have, like, when we were growing up, we lived 2 to 5 minutes from all of our cousins.
Yeah.
Both sides of the family, my mom's side of the family and my dad.
Yeah.
We were all there. We got together, I mean, every week at some point. Jumping in my grandpa's pool or going to Tia Gracie's house, like having dinners, and both sides of the family. Everybody was there all the time. And it's crazy to think now, like, as you know, Bree's married now for almost 2 years, and who knows when we're gonna get married.
Who knows?
TBD.
TBD on that. But like, a big reason why we're all living together, I think, is we want to build that with our family.
Yeah.
It may not be, you know, the Gonzales family or the Basaldua family right now, but we had that with them. So now it's our efforts to create that. And luckily we live in an amazing city where it's not like New York. I can never, I can't raise a family in New York City.
No.
Even in LA.
Yeah.
This just seems like everything's slowly coming into place. Now we all get to, you know, hopefully have that. My parents want to move up here, and your parents are already here. So it's like it's slowly, you know, God willing, slowly gonna be there. And we all, you know, one day she's gonna have kids, and we're all gonna have kids, and we're gonna be here and live 2 to 5 minutes away from each other, and rebuild that again. That's huge.
That's the
I think
dream.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And have everybody to be able to do what we do with all their jobs, and like it's, you know, that's a huge goal for all of us. I think, if I can speak for everybody.
For sure.
No, it is.
So
Really is.
that's huge.
Bree, I mean, so big. It's definitely the goal. And then to see Nick just totally on board.
Absolutely. Well, his parents live here too.
Like, it's,
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
Yeah.
But I leave the best for last.
Absolutely.
Because, girl, oh
Nice.
my
Like, I don't know.
you are so petite. Like, I know people can't really tell with the cameras and stuff, but like, you are so petite. And then just to see you walk around like MSG, handling business, asking people, and like not taking a no for an answer.
Handling all the shit. Putting out every fire that was put in front of that I couldn't handle, she was there.
Yeah.
She got it all done night 1 and night 2. And whatever problems that happened the first night, we got
they
we got
weren't
it.
happening
Problems
that second
resolved.
night.
Yeah. And you had so much on your plate.
And
but
I think a biggest thing for me too is like I'm still learning all of this.
Yeah.
Like MSG was the first time I actually experienced backstage.
Can you imagine? That's your first experience?
I know.
Yeah,
and
'cause-
she handled it with poise.
Yeah.
It was
LA,
crazy.
I was experience it with y'all like as a normal spectator, but this was completely different. I'm like, okay, I'm in work mode now. Like this is how I'm viewing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what it was the whole weekend.
Yeah.
I did get to celebrate, but like I was in the moment. I also just want to make things so much easier for him, and like so he can focus on the music and the playing and all the things, and I'll take care of everything else in the background.
Yeah.
So
And I know as like the big sister, your role, but explain to the people that don't know the family intimately what characteristics you've brought to the table and how you've held down the fort, not just for Mike, but for the family too.
I think I'm the very like well balanced one. I can see when things might be like going awry, and I'm like, okay, how can I fix this and like make it better and not let it get to that point. But also just I know when we traveled when we were younger, like my parents you know, like they want us to have fun, but they didn't, I feel like, take the extra mile and like have a planner. I'm very much a planner when I like to go and do something. Like, I'm kind of on a schedule and keeping us to a schedule at most part. I'm not like strict on it. Like, and I talk to my family and I'm like, okay, like we have these trips coming up. Like, where are we wanting to stay? What are we wanting to do? So I don't just go and take it upon myself and do it all by myself, because I want everybody's input at the same time. But like, I kind of go out of my way. I'm like, okay, these are the flights. Like, and that's where my husband comes into it too, is like, he's so willing to help in any way he can. Like, he is a big part of what helps me do my thing with my family as well. So we are a good partnership there too. So we're searching flights. Like, we figure out the flights for our family. Okay, where's the nearest hotel to the venue? So it just makes it easier to get around, but also convenient for what we want to do while we're in the cities. And like, so planning that and like just getting everybody together, making sure everybody has what they need. Like, I've just, I've kind of taken on that role. I'm like mom.
Essentially.
Really just, you know, making sure everybody has what they need. Are you guys on time? Are we on time? Like, I was running back to the hotel for him this past weekend, just grabbing stuff.
Or even, I remember I was checking in officially, and Nick was like coming down the elevator, and he's like, oh, hey, it's so good to see you. I have to run an errand. And later found out that errand was to like go get a metallic Sharpie.
Yes.
That's right.
You. So you're like, speed dial, I can count on my husband to do that, to like get you the Sharpie that you needed.
And he did, exactly.
Which is amazing to see.
Yeah.
But
it was
what
funny.
A blessing.
He went to go get Sharpies, and she went back to hotel room because I forgot my stomach pills, dude. Oh my God.
I did not want him to forget those.
Yes. Those type of things, deodorant, pills, are
it's that minuscule. Like, those details are very important that she has to take care of.
It's so funny because they're like, oh, we're not going to have a stinky brother.
Oh, it was so, I mean, she was like, okay, so I brought your deodorant, and make sure you use it before, because you're going to be hugging people. And she told me 3 times, did you put on deodorant? Did you put on deodorant? Oh, no. Do I stink that bad?
Yeah.
There have been times.
You're sweating and stuff.
Which we understand.
Well, and then she was like, and then he's a hugger.
Yes. A sweaty hugger. We just got to make sure you smell good.
And you wear sleeveless shirts.
Yeah. I wore Jordan jersey that night, so it's like, people were, you know.
They were gonna get it all.
Dude.
Shout out to Marisa for the
jersey. For the Jordan jersey. She laced me up. It was Marisa and Ali. Thank you so much. We're about to have dinner with them tonight, so that's gonna be fun.
We love y'all.
Celebration dinner. But so like, I mean, all the details like that. It's like, man, you can't be smelling like shit when I come off the stage, and I can't be farting everywhere I go. So like, and we want to be eating all this good food and experiencing all this culture in the city, and we all got to be prepared. And that's where she comes in.
For sure.
No, I was like, this is amazing. I didn't have to. I was like, where are y'all staying? And you're like, this one. I'm like, perfect. You know, like at first I was like, I got onto the computer to research, and I'm like, where am I gonna stay in New York? Asking people's opinions, and they're like, oh, Manhattan, Brooklyn, this, that. It's all these different. I'm like, I don't know. And then you're like, booked it. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Love it.
That's where I'm going. When are y'all leaving? Okay, that's where I'm leaving. You know, just little things like that. But y'all are such a blessing in your own unique ways, and that's why I asked like what you all not like brought to the table, but just the dynamics of a family and what makes you all so special, and why this family unit works so well to give each of you all the ability to go out and do what you're meant to do in this world, you know, because God created all of us so specifically and so for a purpose and for a reason, and sometimes that reason is to be on a big stage, and sometimes that's to be at retail, you know, and serving the highest of luxury clients, you know, but you do that with so much poise and grace, but that's also given you the skills to do what you do now. But, you know, each of you all, and watch you guys grow up and become, because life is hard for everyone. And I think that if anybody can take anything away from here is if you want that, if you don't have that family unit and you want that for yourself, it can start with you.
It can.
And
really
if
can.
you roll it back to like Mr. and Mrs. G, I mean, it started with them, you know?
That's where it all began,
and then
for sure.
rebuilding it here at this level in Austin, and each of you all just bringing that to the table. It's just so special. And I'm just blessed and honored to just get a behind the stage peek of how this is and how this operates, you know. And then to see you on the big stage and use your gifts to glorify God,
Absolutely.
you know, and be at the best of your performance and ability, because you have these pillars, you know, in your corner, not to mention your parents. I know that you like your dad is like your 911 call for everybody.
Yeah, but, I mean, he wants to be for all of us.
Yeah.
He wants to be. My mom's the same way, and let's not forget my brother. Like my brother and his wife, like Abel III and Anna and Leah, his daughter, they were right there along the way with us too.
Yeah.
And to see it, so all of this, like every comedian that I know, every album besides like my first 2 albums that my dad showed me was Richard Pryor and Robin Williams, but like Abel has put us on, me and Bree, because we were a little bit older than the girls, but I mean, he was showing us so many comedians before. Like he showed me Kill Tony. Like he showed me who Tony Hinchcliffe was, who Joe Rogan was. Like he hipped me to all this shit. That's how I knew, like before they even came here. You know, Bill Burr, Rogan, Joey Diaz, like all these, Whitney Cummings, all these people. He was hipping this to me when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So like I knew all these heavy comedians, and he used to listen to. I worked with him for years for my grandfather. I did 3 summers with him, in high school and 2 years in college, and he'd had a Sirius XM radio, and we'd listen to Opie and Anthony, which is Jim Norton's on that. It's like heavy comedians were always coming through that show. And it's because of him, and to see him experience that with all of us, like his idols that he listened to, he got to meet Jim Norton. He got to meet all these guys in the back because of this.
It's crazy.
But it started like that comedy mindset started with him.
Wow.
So everybody has played.
Full circle.
It's so full circle. Everybody has played a role into where God has placed me. And it's like each one of these people have prepared me a little bit to have me be sitting where I'm sitting behind Tony and with the band. Like that's kind of crazy.
That's so crazy.
That's kind of crazy.
Y'all also manifested a performance in New York a little bit, right?
I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, and you know,
but playing around, just like, oh yeah, I'll play that stadium.
Oh well, so I in I think it was 2019 or 2018 maybe. I was touring in New York with my hip hop band at the time, Magna Carta, and my brother just ended up being in New York. We were in New York at the same time. And I was like, yo, if we're gonna be in New York at the same time, Brian Callen is doing a couple sets at the Gotham Comedy Club, and I bought him and his brother-in-law and Christian, our cousin, our nephew, but I bought us all tickets, and we went, and I was a huge Fighter and the Kid fan at the time, and so was he. Like he turned me on to all these podcasts, Bobby Lee, Chris D'Elia, Theo Von, all these guys who now I play with.
Yeah.
I'm on stage with. That
crazy.
came from him. So we did it, and we're like sitting there front row, by the way. Brian's right here, does an hour and 15, and we're laughing our ass off the entire time, just elated. We finished the show, and he goes, dude, thank you for this is crazy. And then a couple years later, we're here at Madison. Like, okay, so that same weekend, I spent pretty much the entire weekend with them when I wasn't with the band or playing. And they were staying at a hotel right next to the Beacon Theater, and I told them, like, dude, one day I'm going to play the Beacon Theater. And then next thing you know, we're here at Madison Square Garden, which is an even bigger place.
Wow.
And it was crazy.
Yeah.
God, I know, it was crazy. And he was like, dude, remember when you told me you were gonna play the Beacon Theater? How crazy is that the next time we're here, you're playing Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the world. That's insane. It's insane to me.
Wow.
So, little by little things are happening, and
it's just amazing to see God's goodness.
Absolutely.
And you're like, okay, I can step in confidence whether I know the next step or not.
I don't know the next step.
Yeah.
I don't know. But as long as this is the way I look at it. I'm working hard every day at my craft, and I'm working out, practicing, playing, taking care of my family. We're all together doing all this. As long as these little building blocks are happening and continue to happen, and just me putting my nose to the grindstone, opportunities that are meant for me and for us will be placed in front of me. And if I stop doing that, if those opportunities come and I'm not prepared, I'll never let that happen. I have to be prepared for when these opportunities. I didn't know I was going to play with Keith Urban. That was a crazy thing in itself.
Yeah.
So Carlos from Grooveline Horns, he's the saxophone player on Kill Tony. One random Tuesday night, we're playing just a Grooveline Horns residency at Sea Boys. I walk in, I have my congas with me. He's talking to Matt about a gig that a tour manager, one of his friends, had been calling. He's like, "Yo, man, this artist, he's looking for guitar player, mandolin player, 2 background singers, and a percussionist." And now I'm not hearing any of this, but I find out later that's what it is. So I walk in, and he looks at me when he's talking to Matt. He goes, "Ah, shit, dude, I should be telling you about this. I should have recommended you." And I was like, "For what?" He's like, "Do you want to play percussion with Keith Urban?" And I was like taken back. Like, what?
We'll run that last sentence back. Right?
Yeah, dude. Yes. Yeah, he goes, "Dude, like, he's looking for somebody for the CMTs. The CMTs were coming to the Moody Theater. Like, I didn't even," he was like, "Man, I'm sorry, I didn't even think about you. I was thinking about another guy, but you're here. I don't know why I didn't think about you. I'm gonna recommend you to the music director and the tour manager and all this stuff." So he does it a couple days, like that was on Tuesday. Saturday, and I'm like, "Hey man, I have private gigs with the Peterson brothers that weekend." And I was like, "Yo, dude, have they said anything? Like, I really need to let Miss Peterson know if this is gonna happen." And sure enough, a couple days later on a Saturday, the music director calls me and he's like, "Yo, man, this is a go. We're gonna go with you." And Pete Kuzma, shout out to Pete. We had like a 15-20 minute conversation about what it's gonna be like, and I don't know if I should say the intimacy of like what was happening on stage, but he was telling me importance of like what my part of the project was gonna be. He's like, "Yo, I need you to nail this." And I was like, "All right, cool. Send me everything you need to send me. I'll sit there." And they're witnesses to this, and I'll get there. So a couple days later, well, actually, the very next day, the stagehand, the stage production manager calls me. He's like, "Yo, dude, hi, my name's so and so." It's like, I need your rig list. Like, what instruments we need. We're gonna get everything you need." I was like, "Dude, I haven't even listened to any of the music. I don't know what we're playing." And he goes, "Well, if you can get it to me ASAP, like that'd be good." So I text Pete. He's like, "Yo, Pete, can you send me the stuff?" He sends me a reference. I listen to it, and okay, I was like, I can get all this stuff done. I send it back to the guy. And then the next day, Pete sends me like these tracks that with the percussion, like these rototoms and like very important parts of the tune. He sends it to me. "I need you to play this note for note." Perfect. It's a 3-minute song. It's called "Straight Line" by Keith Urban. I listened to it over and over and over again, and I have it in my phone. I transcribed every note, every tom hit, everything from that record. I put it down on a piece of paper, and I ran it over and over and over again for almost a week and a half.
Wow. Over
and over again. And they know because I had them come in and watch me play. I needed to kill this so much that the most, like, I don't get nervous in front of people who I don't know, but the people who are closest to me, there's an extra feeling of, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to nail it. So I had each of them come in and watch me and record me so I could look back and see what it all looks like. And it was great. It was great. I nailed it every time they came in. That means I was ready to go out and do the work. And they felt it too. They felt it. We actually, like, we never posted any of it, but we have those videos of me doing that. And I stressed, I was like, yo, I have to nail this. And then I added some other stuff that weren't necessarily in the recording. And he was like, yeah, dude, yeah, I trust you, do it all. So the day of that rehearsal, I get there, none of the band's there yet. I'm in the back with all the production crew and meeting all the guys that are on the team that are like the techs and all these guys. And I'm back there and experience all this backstage thing. And I see, like, I'm tuning my toms, or I'm tuning my toms and my congas, and I'm looking at the screen because there's other bands coming up and performing on stage. And I see Little Big Town on stage, and they're playing "Take Me Home" by Phil Collins. And I was at that point, I was already in a Phil Collins mindset, like playing piano and learning all his stuff and learning all these drum parts. And this was a sign, I think, from God to know that I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And I mean, who at a country music festival, who's playing Phil Collins?
Right.
It doesn't, to me, it didn't make any sense, but then it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, and that's like, I think that was the moment that I was like, this is about to be one of the like greatest experiences of my life.
What a moment.
What a moment. And I'm talking with all these people, and I'm saying like, yo, he's playing the drum parts, and we're all geeking, like, because everybody's even the techs, they're all musicians.
Yeah.
So everybody's geeking out. I was like, yo, he's playing, you know, all this stuff. And then they start, you know, the techs, we start moving the stuff on stage a little bit later, and the band comes in, and we're kind of sound checking on stage. Nobody's in the crowd. We're doing a camera blocking to know, you know, what cameras are going through, camera shots for the TV when it airs, because I think it was all live for that specific one. And in comes Terrence, he's on the drums, Nate's coming up, you know, everybody's kind of checking their stuff, and I have my ears in, we're playing, going through some stuff, and the corner of the stage I see Keith, and I was like, oh shit. And right away we made eye contact, and keep in mind, we're playing this like just kind of testing stuff. We make eye contact, he makes a direct beeline to me.
Wow.
And I was like, oh shit, he's gonna come say hi, right? He's crazy. He comes up to me and he goes, what's up, Mike? I'm glad you're here, mate. And I was like, great, perfect. It was kind of, we talked about the last time when Tony came up to me and did the same thing. That same thing happened.
Wow.
And he is that guy. I mean, he is one of the most incredible, obviously musicians and songwriters, whatever, but he's that guy. Everybody in that camp is so incredibly just genuine people.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned that they all like have amazing things to say about working for him.
Absolutely. Everybody does. And I experienced it. And it trickles down. Everybody's like that.
That's amazing.
It was great to have that like one-on-one. We hadn't even played, nobody's played a note yet.
Yeah.
And he came and he did that. He gave shake my hand. Glad he hit, mate.
It's so surreal to hear that happened with Tony, and you remember that moment, and then this moment
and
it's as well.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And then another thing happens. So like now everybody's working, the band's here. Now we're running through some of the stuff for the camera blocking. And comes a part where like I was showing them that there's a big tom section in one of the verses at the very beginning of the song that's like pretty prominent. Like there's a lot happening, and it's a lot of Phil Collins stuff, which is crazy because I'm playing concert toms because all the notes and the phrases that are playing are all Phil Collins inspired anyways. So I was like, let's put some concert toms on stage. I'm doing this whole thing, and Pete turns around and goes, yeah, dude, yeah. And then Keith turns around and goes, and I was like,
I'm doing something right.
All right, dude. I'm prepared for this moment. All those times where I was running and they're having them come in and filming and doing all this stuff, it's all work.
Well, going back to the building blocks, you're like, if I could just nail these building blocks, everything will fall into place. And I think that's where the truth is. You know, like yes, this is where the grind is, but that's where the truth is too. If you just stay steady here, it's the journey, and the opportunities will open up themselves.
Absolutely.
But I hate to cut this off. We're at the end.
We always
do it. We're like, but amazing. I mean, we've got the therapist, the bodyguard, and the manager. Yeah. You're on lockdown.
I mean, for real.
There's nothing that you can't do.
Yeah. For real, seriously, I can't do I can't like force this enough.
Yeah.
I can't do what I do without these ladies right here.
It's anybody
crazy.
that knows you knows that about you. Well, we got to wrap it up. Maybe next time we'll have your parents on.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Table.
Oh, dang. That full table, dude.
But appreciate you guys coming on. I'm sure anybody that listens to this will take a nugget out for themselves. But whether you're in a musician or just valuing family or whatever it is that you want in life, you can pull some nuggets from here. And so I hope the listeners got a little something, but we'll be back on soon.
Come on. Come on. Let's do it.